What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of an honest conversation about hip-hop. It is your boy, hip-hop's Uncle Phil, a.k.a. hip-hop old head, and I am here with the one and only.
It's your boy, Son Capone, the greatest rapper never known, in the building, man.
Man, what's good on this Sunday, Son? What you getting into?
Man, just NFL. That's it, man. Fantasy football, and we looking out for brothers like the Kardashians during the All-Star game, trying to hunt them down.
You trying to find the best available prospects.
One who got some stats and a stroke, Oh, bad.
Well, we just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us off top and just checking us out, either listening to us via our Facebook page. That's an honest conversation about hip-hop podcast, or you can catch us via Lisbon and Spotify, or every Monday morning, bigbadradio.com, or at the Big Bad Radio app. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard. What's good with you, Philly? So, man, we are back like cook crack. Lot that went on this week, hip-hop wise, but let's start with two things that I've kind of always concurrently run together: hoop and rapping. And we've had some cats who are cool, all right. We had some cats who have some skills. We've had some cats who are trash, like Kobe, Dana Barros, cats like that. So Shaq, who many I guess just give the consensus to as the best rap basketball player, right? I mean, we've never heard a full album from AI. Didn't the league ban that, right?
Yeah.
Your boy Tony Parker couldn't get off his French rap album, right?
We don't know how it did in France, all right.
But did it? They let it come out in France?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cold though. They censored Allen, but they let Tony get his off in France, huh? We know that Chris Webber at one time had a label. I'm trying to think of some of the other guys who are from back in the day were actually trying to rap. Oh, Ron Artest, out there doing this thing. He's been doing this thing now. Probably him and Shaq, I guess, would be the most consistent, you know what I mean, and actually had placements. He had records with Mobb Deep and stuff like that. So, Ron's been out here on tour, out here. So props to Ron Artest. And I'm sure there's other rap cats that have rapped as well. But so Shaq is looked at as the best of the old school, and a lot of cats are saying that Lillard, Dame Dolla, is probably maybe the nicest from the new generation of cats that's rapping. And we talked about his beef really quick that he had with the kid from the Sacramento Kings, Bagley or whatnot, and we thought that Dame got Bagley. So if I'm not mistaken, this started on the Joe Budden show where Lillard was sitting with Button and them, and they instigated talking about what about Shaq, isn't Shaq the greatest? And Lillard, being an MC, said no, it's me, I'm the greatest, I'm better than he is, which led to Shaq dropping a diss track almost about a month later, and then this has escalated. So I'm gonna go ahead and first get your thoughts on your thought process on why you feel like Shaq jumped after making those comments, because we haven't heard him really rap or put out any serious music. So he kind of dusted off the mic and jumped out the window, so to speak.
Yeah, but Shaq is egotistical, you know what I mean, and he's got the he's bragging about the what the fuck is it, the statue and shit, the Staples Center, and, all that, and I'm the first to do this and do that. I mean, shit, he was throwing shade at Kobe, about a month ago, he threw shade at Kobe. Kobe mentioned his work ethic, and he took it personal and went back. So, hey, Shaq, he's a great player, very dominant. I wasn't a fan of Shaq, during his peak career, but, Shaq has always been about Shaq, and that's why he wouldn't amass the 6 rings or 7 or anything like that, because he wasn't worried about everybody else and putting it together. So he's always been petty. Ask Shawnee.
Oh shit. Hey Shaq, ain't no Shaq. There's a lot of ex-wives out there who ain't getting paper from this wives of basketball shit. So I mean, that's not really anything to be proud of, but I'm saying his pettiness led to a whole bunch of heifers cashing checks. So what'd you think of Shaq's diss?
I mean, Shaq sounded dated, man.
He
I mean,
did.
you know, like
Sounded old.
He had a few punches. I mean, as far as there were rhymes, you know what I mean.
He was
but,
rhyming.
You know, as far as the delivery and shit, you know, way back.
Yeah,
like,
I was waiting for
Curtis Blow, Kumo D flow and shit. Like, it is crazy, man, because Shaq wasn't off beat and shit when he was, you know what I mean? When he wasn't my favorite or anything like that, but he could actually rhyme and he was on beat and shit like that.
Right, he had a lot of cool tracks.
Yeah, and it's crazy that I guess you just lose it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, as Dame said, one of the tracks, if all those were ghost-written raps, then I'm not denying that Shaq could probably kick a freestyle. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that Shaq is aware how to construct a verse and put something together. So maybe when we were thinking Shaq was doing whatever Shaq was doing, I'm the hooper, the hyper, check the pipe, whatever. That was that Fushniken's track or whatever, right? Maybe those tracks were ghost written the whole entire time, and at the time we weren't really tripping on it because it was Shaq
and nobody was coming out publicly.
Right. But now, as we look at it and we listen to the Dame dance response, I mean, in my opinion, Dame cooked. Like, Shaq should not reply. Shaq should just go to a business meeting tomorrow, ride off in the Papa John's truck and just be cool, because there's really no need for response in this
some
one.
Icy hot and take your ass to bed.
Right. Go ahead, man. Take your L on this one, Shaq, because there's really nothing to come back from.
Nah.
And now you got to see Dame throughout the season. I'm sure there's be some TNTs in Portland and stuff like that. So you got to sit with this one for a minute too. And this is a perfect opportunity for Charles Barkley and other cats to, to cook. I'm cooking Shaq every time I see him reciting some of these bars or whatever. So I give Dame props, man. The final reply or whatever it was called, I rest my case. That was a Dame Dolla. I didn't like the very beginning. He sounded kind of offbeat, but once the song progressed, he just murdered Shaq. There's no comeback for Shaq on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a wrap, bro. Shaq need to leave it alone and do what Shaq do.
Do you think Dame will ever be taken seriously mainstream music wise? I mean, obviously he has a skill. Do you think that and not even mainstream wise? Do you think he'll ever garner a following outside of his NBA followers? Do you think his music has a larger appeal than just somebody who wants to fuck with him because he's a point guard for the Portland Trailblazers?
And that's kind of hard because I haven't listened to Dame as far as any projects or anything like that, but I know he can spit, and I know I'll listen to him. You know what I mean? If he's got a track or whatever, but a lot of things that I've heard from him is just bars. So I mean, can he cross over and get a connection? And I'm sure he has a story. But can he get that off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree with you too, man. I'm aware he is a dope rapper, but I've never been pulled into anything other than a freestyle or like him dissing these cats.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what it is. I don't know if because he's already made it, like we look at him as now being successful, Supermax contract, or he has one of the maxes. I don't know if it's Supermax, but max contract, successful, have your own sneaker line. Like, we really don't, I mean, in my opinion, I really don't want to hear about that. Now if you have a story and it's very it's derived in a subject that I fuck with, then I'm gonna check it out. But if you just have that regular, not I want to say regular, but you have the common story of most cats who struggled and are trying to make it, there's other rappers that I would probably listen to before you because you've already made it. So I think it's that stigma of success that we don't take anybody seriously when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to rapping. Yeah,
no, I agree. I mean, how can he make his shit relatable? And if he's talking about current times or whatever, if we take it back to his upbringing and what he's had to overcome, I think that is what will get people in. But he may not want to be dark. I mean, he is a corporate, entity. He is a multi-million-dollar NBA all-star.
There's a brand attached to him now.
Yeah, there's only so deep he can get into or go, and relinquish of himself to not, hurt or tarnish his image. You know what I mean? He's got to protect. He's got to protect that. So he's kind of in a tough spot. I mean, it's probably his PR and the Trailblazers as well. Yeah. Where he's got to go ahead and protect that image and be Dame Dolla, you know what I mean, shoot threes, and you might be able to spit bars, but I assure you, before he spit anything, he probably got to send that shit to somebody to get clearance to
I'm
go
sure
ahead
the
and
league,
release
yeah.
it. And he can't go too hard on it and have a Sandusky bar or some shit in there, or something crazy. So I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure the league is still clearing what you release. I mean, Lonzo had his record last year. I don't know, it was an EP or something. I heard the one song, kept it pushing. But I know there's dudes within the industry or the league. I know Kevin Durant does something behind the scenes. So a lot of these guys has aspirations. But as far as I just think being accepted as your everyday rapper, your everyday MC, I just don't really see that ever being something that he's going to be able to do. And I'm just not saying because he's a hooper. I'm just saying it's more attached to hip hop because you had cats like Wayman Tisdale who released multiple albums and were up for albums. So I mean, or were up for awards and things of that nature. So you can do things. I just think when it comes to hip hop in itself, one, the league is not trying to have you out there like that, and two, the fan base is looking at you differently because they see you on TV.
Oh, you gonna fuck up that McDonald money and shit like that.
And I don't even think Dame is really worried about that.
Yeah, no, of course not.
But at the end of the day, I just think that it's going to be the fan base that doesn't really fuck with him. Now, speaking of people not fucking with people, Uncle Luke last week was quite outraged when they went ahead and announced the Super Bowl lineup of Jennifer, Lopez and Shakira, which we were both shocked because we thought it was going to be heavily Roc Nation branded. And I don't think J-Lo is with Roc Nation. I didn't do my Googles before the show. I definitely know Shakira is not. But I understand they're in Miami. To the outside looking in, Miami is this Latin playground of exotic women running around or whatnot. We know different, but that's what mainstream society wants us to believe, that's what Miami's all about, is hot Latinas. So they have J-Lo and they have Shakira out there. Now Luke came at Jay, basically called him a coon, said the NFL is using him, and felt that 2 Live Crew, Pitbull, and Trick Daddy, a lot of other legacy Miami artist, Rick Ross, should be getting that platform if Jay is really about the culture. So let's start with that, Sam. I'm going to ask you, do you feel that Luke has a point, or is this an old head barking because he was left out?
No, he has a point because initially Jay is the ambassador right now of the culture, and he's the one that tied the culture, hip hop and the NFL together. I mean,
he's more the ambassador. He is head of, or he is the face of the company that is procuring the artists.
True.
And securing the artists for the show. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, no, of course it would only make sense, to go ahead and bring the unity and introduce that, to the rest of the world. I mean, for us, it's a staple and we're familiar, with the artist, but I think that it's a good look for hip hop and just a good look altogether.
And if I were to believe the words of Roc Nation and what we thought was going to happen, we thought it was going to be a Beyonce J or this super Roc Nation, halftime show. And let's say that's still, let's say there's bigger plans. Let's say there's some big event that weekend where Jay gets to get off and gets to get all the people he wants to fuck with on the stage, and they do it somewhere else on Tidal, they stream it or something, Super Bowl concert weekend or whatever. We don't know what they have in their minds. Hopefully they have another big event popping off for them. But when I hear J-Lo, when I hear Shakira, I think, okay, this is definitely going to be something where they're going to be reaching out to the Latinos and the Latin, and the Latin market. Mm-hmm. I definitely see Gloria Estefan in the Miami Sound Machine. They own some of the club. I think Pitbull's still going to get his look because he's Pitbull and he's Mr. 305 or whatever he calls himself or whatever. So I still think he's going to get a look. I don't know, probably DJ Khaled's up there. I don't know if Rick Ross gets that look. I know definitely 2 Live Crew, the surviving members, they're not getting that look. You know what I mean? Trick Daddy's not getting that look. I know I'm forgetting some folks, but, I see where the beef is. And again, I think this is Jay's fault to the extent that his message before this NFL deal was of, we need to own our own and look out for our own and all this type of stuff. And then the NFL deal came and it kind of halted. And we heard the announcement with the Crushers Club or whatever the fuck that shit was, the lady cutting the kids dreadlocks or whatever. And that was week 1, right? We're now in week 5. I haven't heard about any new donations. I'm not saying they're not getting done, but how come we're not hearing about them now? You know, is that because these donations are, again, going to spots that can be deemed a little unfavorable in the eyes of the people who are supporting these artists and, you know, supporting the man who is now in bed with the NFL?
Yeah, no. I mean, you can't. You know what I mean? Like I said, they keeping everything under wraps. And I told you when we had this conversation back then, I felt everything was forced back then, and they felt they had to do something. And I think that I don't think they're donating. I think they're strategically planning on where to move the funding to where it makes sense for us. You know what I mean? And that's where they're, you know, tiptoeing and walking on eggshells because they don't want to fuck up again since they are under the microscope.
Right. And you're right. You did say you felt this was rushed, and I said that has to be the stupidest business thing ever. And now it looks really crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if the money is going basically to programs the NFL has been funding forever. You know, so their impact really, and when I mean there, I mean Rock Nation's impact on that side of the where the money is going is non-existent. And again, it looks like you are just the entertainers. You know, once again, we're the cats dribbling the balls, and we're the cats, you know, rocking the microphones, where this was almost spun as Jay has a seat at the table, but it's more like you have a seat at the kids' table. You know what I mean?
Because at least the kids' table get a plate for everybody. Get a plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He got a smaller plate or whatever, but he can't be involved in any of the grown-up discussions, any of the planning. He's not going to be able to get his point across. And again, we could be wrong. These things could unfold, but we're talking about we're a third through the NFL season, would you say? Right? Maybe a fourth, whatever. Yeah, so we're about a third through, and I haven't really seen enough to impact change. I haven't seen really too much rolled out. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nah, I mean, nothing. You
nothing.
Know what I mean? You don't see anything on that.
We dropped the week 1 gear. You know, Snoop just performed. They'll have somebody perform tonight. Halftime, I'm sure it'll be somebody affiliated with Rock Nation, and so that's what we're getting. We're getting an entertainment package.
Yeah. Shit, we get YouTube. That's what.
Right.
YouTube exclusive. That's all it is. That's terrible, man.
Like I
Thanks,
said,
Jay.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Here's the thing, and I guess, you know, with Luke, I don't think Luke needs Jay to do anything that we can, you know, what Luke needs to do.
Get his own event going.
Yes, he needs to throw his old school Luke party. Super Bowl weekend.
That'll be hopping.
Trust me, everybody and their mama gonna want to get in there. If Luke's doing a Freaknik that weekend or something like that, or just an adult, you know, kind of party, you know, I don't know. I don't know if he's still cool with Gloria Velez and all them, but, you know, bringing, you know, but I'm sure you got some new Gloria Velez. You'd I wonder what Gloria's probably 40,
like mid-40s,
mid-40s, a little older than we are. You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what Gloria's doing. What was the other chick? Vita. She got swole. She's like a little
like bodybuilder.
Yeah,
swole?
she's like bodybuilder. Like, you know, when Pops was looking at them. What was it?
I don't know what you talking about, D.
The bodybuilding magazines. What they used to call them back in the
I don't even
Joe
know.
Wielder magazine, or I forget what it was called or whatever. But like, she's cut like that. Like, you know, her abs got abs. You know, she's not the little. She's not the video vixen that she once was. She's now, I think she was trying to professionally bodybuild for a while or whatnot. So, but yeah, Luke doesn't need Rock Nation to come to town and make it pop. Luke, Ross, Khaled could get something
right there.
To get something.
Pitbull, because Luke got that relationship with
Yeah, that's
Pitbull.
what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
It'd be over
You make that super
It'd be
poppin'.
over with.
You know, make that super popping. It could be a 2-day event.
You know what would be cold killer? And I know the motherfucker would do it too. If he can get Vince McMahon in the XFL to go ahead and promote the shit during the Super Bowl for that weekend. You know what I mean? Not as the same time as the halftime show, but if they get some shit popping that Saturday, where they can go ahead and divert all the motherfuckers coming to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? To get that
and
XFL.
have like their first XFL game in there. That's smart ass marketing. I don't know if that's February. That's hard to execute. So I'm gonna get in my Wrestle nerd bag real quick because WrestleMania is exactly, I want to say, a month after the Super Bowl is. Well, then maybe
pre-hype for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's smart. Now pre-hype for WrestleMania, but you know you might still be able to pull that off. And I don't know, I haven't.
And you got The Rock coming back and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's gonna be back for WrestleMania, but that's another.
But it's somebody from Miami. You know what I mean? That's some real shit. And yeah, so now that you talk about that, The Rock. So again, this is just all fantasy shit. Imagine if they could kill two birds with one stone. You have your first XFL game, but before your first or after your first XFL game, you have The Rock returning to wrestle at the stadium. Main event. Maybe you have a very limited card. Maybe it's only 4 to 5 matches or whatever, and you go ahead and you televise that. You know, so not only throughout the game do you have, you know, the build up for this event. So people watching the XFL game to you know, hear the interviews, cats are cutting promos, you're doing whatever you're doing, leading up to the end of the XFL game, and then rolling directly into the WWF you know, event or whatnot. I think they can definitely kill the game with some ratings on that one. If you know, sounds very big and hard to do, but I mean, this is what the NFL does. You know, or that's right. This is what WWE does. And if, like you're saying, if XFL wants to have a shot, I don't even know when they kick off, but that'd be a great time. I don't even know if they draft the teams yet. So, but that would be a good time to have some sort of event.
Tap in and build some momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And take advantage of what Jay and them couldn't. You know what I mean? So it's like shit. Let's coattail off of this. Yeah, they can do some big shit. You know?
Because you could do that down at the University of Miami Stadium. You know what I mean? There's hella football venues in Florida. So even if you can't use Dolphin Stadium, you know what I mean? Take it down to the U. You know what I mean? Or whatever happens to be in that area.
Then Lou getting all them U players and shit like that back, Irvin and
I mean, you could definitely
they go fuck shit up, bro.
Yeah. So big shout out to you know, to one of the legends, you know, Uncle Luke. And again, we say this, he doesn't get his due props when it comes to that. You know, I know he has a biopic coming. I'm definitely gonna check that out. But he is one person that we need to definitely make sure that is getting more of a platform to speak and share with us, you know, the history and things that he went through, you know, with the government and, you know, just stuff at a very high level. People put a lot of spotlight on what Easy and them had to go through, but you know,
Luke was the first.
Yeah, Luke was the first. You know, first cat to get banned, man. So speaking of the first, congratulations to Short Dog at the ripe age of 53. He becomes a pimp daddy, you know, just a regular daddy. He becomes, has a little girl, I want to say about a couple months old. From the photos that I saw circulating, he doesn't look too thrilled. Doesn't look too thrilled. Not saying that he isn't. Could have been a long day shooting, whatever. I know they had him next to some other dad, so it's probably some program or something like that. So he was probably had it up to here, just wanted to break out. But what are your thoughts, Simon? Did you think that Short had no kids at 53? I wasn't aware.
Yeah, I thought he had kids. As much as he talk about fucking and shit like that, like I just knew one of these little bat necks got him slipping in the summer of '87 or something. You know what I mean? Like
right. I thought Baby D was his kid.
Yeah, me too.
And correct. I mean, this is a pool question. He's not here with us today, but if I recall, I thought they were even on a record kind of talking about that was like his kid or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Baby D, I thought was or Little D or whatever the name of the kid was. I thought that was his kid. Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, well, shit, obviously
well,
not.
Obviously not, right? But yeah, that's crazy. First of all, shout out to Short.
Baby D failed the DNA or the swab test and shit.
Todd Shaw, you are not the father. How many times do you think that's been the scenario? How many trick babies do you think that Shorts had tried to get played on him?
Because this motherfucker's been in the game since the 80s, bro.
If he's chatting the truth and if he's living his raps, then we know he's out there smashing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, you know what I mean? Because girl or women still go crazy for him, you know what I mean? And get drunk or get drunk with it, get loose with it, you know what I mean? Like, they're still blowing the whistle, per se.
Yeah.
But, man, I would say he has been through that at least probably 20 times in his life. At least 20. And I'm probably undercutting that shit because that's a fucking summer jam between LA and fucking the Bay. You know what I mean? The one summer.
That's from 92.3 to KBL. That's just the drive over there.
Hey, fucking bitches in Gilroy and all that other little fucking town. Gilroy to
Short taking
Gilroy
down
to Bakersfield. Yeah, come on, man.
Short and Fireball getting some firehead, huh?
Hey, man, just because the town got, 20,000 people, it's a pretty bitch wandering around over there, you know what I mean? She cheating on her husband, but, shit.
Well, imagine, let's just keep that 100 and shout out to the ladies who are faithful to their men, but I imagine there's a lot of women who
get
stuck in that little town and marry, their high school sweetheart or the dude who got the real good job at the
motherfucking the union and shit.
Yeah, the Gilroy garlic mill head carpenter or whatever. And then Too Short come to town, or one of these stars come to town. You happen to, pay your little $75 to be front row at, the Mama Sosa Center or whatever. And, Short pull you out the crowd. And next thing you know, you go on and on,
That's all, man. Because, man, it's cold, man. Because he buy exes and shit, man. It was certain motherfuckers, that they would fuck with. They just like, oh, I love you and shit, but, if I ever had a chance with do, you know what I mean? And shit, I had the hood bitches, so it's fucking LL. I'm lost for LL. Like, how the fuck I'm gonna compete with LL and shit? This motherfucker still look 25 and shit. Like, man, that L is just snatching. I'm sorry,
So in that situation, you just take the L or what and keep it moving?
Nah, if it happened,
yeah.
Oh hell no, nah. She gonna be lounging with that motherfucker because her shit gonna be, who do you love? And get your ass out of my motherfucking crib.
So hypothetical, because you're not married. So let's say you were. And again, so your dream girl, your wife's dream dude is LL. She tells you, look, I'm going to give you a pass to smash any celebrity if you ever get the chance. If I can try to smash LL.
Nah, because if you got dreams and goals and shit that are not including me, this shit just ain't gonna work, baby. You know what I mean? Like, but you need to go chase that.
So if she's like, yo,
I don't give a fuck if she give me a pass, a rib dinner, and a fucking back rub. Shit, that shit ain't going down, homie.
So she's like, son,
no.
Selma Hayek come to town, you could blow her back out up off top.
Nah,
you just gotta let me try to smash LL.
Nah, fuck that shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, nah, that shit ain't going down.
So what if it was any regular chick? I'm gonna try to smash LL, and you get a pass to try to smash any regular chick you want. So it's a trade-off.
Nah, fuck that. This is not the motherfucking NBA bargaining fucking agreement and shit. The fucking trade-off.
But no, what I'm saying
trade
is this.
exemption and shit.
Well, yeah. So think about it.
Nah.
What's the likelihood of your chick smashing LL?
Nah, but I'm not gonna be malicious like that and be like, well, baby, your past still good. I'm gonna go over here and fuck Melinda. And
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's saying, hey, I'm gonna shoot my shot at LL. You get the opportunity to shoot your shot at a regular broad. Not saying she got to take LL down. If she miss, you still got your opportunity to pull up from long range.
Nah,
so you wouldn't do that.
There's no shooting. You know what I mean? Like if we got to shoot our shot, well, we need to shoot this marriage right in the heart, and just shoot that motherfucker right, into a Norman or wherever the fuck we at. You know
right?
what I mean?
Nah, I feel you. That's always been weird to me. The dudes, and I'm not judging, but it's been weird to me. The dudes that let other dudes smash their wives. To me, the psychology of that's a little off to me.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it, I think before on the show, maybe we didn't, but they call it like cockholding or cuckolding or some crazy shit like that. I don't know the exact pronunciation.
Motherfuckers is behind the ropes like Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels is over there super kicking your bitch.
But they ain't even waiting to tag in. They like Teddy Hart or something. They the manager on the sideline.
He said Jimmy Hart, the mouse of the south.
They on the sideline.
Kill that pussy! Kill that pussy! Kill it! The megaphone.
With the megaphone. That's what's crazy to me. Captain Lou Albano ass niggas with the rubber bands on the outside. That's what's weird to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I'm very square when it comes to other penises in the room with me. I'm not fucking with that. There's no.
You ain't trying to have a Royal Rumble and shit.
Nah, I'm sorry. Ain't no super teams forming over here.
Hey, even if you had the opportunity to bring in Harlem Heat, the greatest tag team ever.
Stevie Ray and Booker T get no play over here.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Hey, call me Vince McMahon. I'm not recognizing anything you did prior to coming to where I'm from.
Like, man, and whose idea you think that is? Do you think that's more of the husband trying to appease the wife, or do you think it's the wife being selfish and want to be appeased herself, or please her husband?
I think it's kind of twofold, man. I think one, it might be, some of these are fetish situations. So if you have a woman that wants another race of man or another another length of man, I'll say. So in those situations, if that's what she wants, and I guess if she's comfortable in sharing that with you, and you willing to, I guess
act or let her execute.
I guess allow that to happen. Then that's just crazy. Again, like you saying earlier, cheating to me is cheating.
Yeah. And
that's what you're alluding to in the whole. Hey, you go fuck with LL, cool. I get a regular chick, nah, because we still cheating. So I understand that. I just, I guess that is just another type of thinking that I can't grasp. You know what I mean? Makes no sense to me. My wife is my wife. I'm not gonna have no other nigga fucking my wife. That's not happening. Go, baby, go. Yeah, do that thing with your hips. Yeah, I told you, yeah. You know what I mean?
That feel good, huh, bro? That feel good, don't it?
Right, don't it? Grab her hair right there. She like, it almost sounds like when the parents are watching their kids play on the sideline or whatever. Then they cheer for them. And again, maybe I'm just not mature. I don't know. I'm 40. I'll be 43 in December.
But I don't think it has nothing to do with maturity, man. It's, there's got to be some kind of boundary and respect, that you have for your partner. You know what I mean? And
right.
If it's just somebody you messing around with, then, if that's your thing. Some people, like with me, I'm not into groups and orgies and all that type of shit. Let me work on this motherfucker myself. I'll be nasty as fuck, but it's gonna be a solo show. You know what I mean? I'm Michael Jackson. We don't got the Jackson 5 and shit right now. This is 83 and after. You know what I mean?
You gloved already.
Yeah, I'm gloved and ready for love, baby. Shit. But I think that, man, I just don't understand that. How people are so free willed, and especially being in a marriage, to go ahead and allow shit like this. You know what I mean? Or fulfill their partner their partner needs fulfillment from an outside source.
Right. And I guess, different strokes for different folks, and there's someone for everyone, I guess. You know what I mean? So again, it's not for me. I can't knock it 100. I can't knock it at all. It's not for me. And there are those relationships where there might be a partner who needs more. and the other partner's not able to give more, and so maybe them getting what they need is done in a controlled scenario, and the other person is able to accept that rather than have the person kind of go behind their back and do what
So
they
I got
do.
a question.
Sure.
What if you become bad car accident or something, become paraplegic, can't move, nothing like that, and your woman doesn't think like that.
Yeah.
But would you allow her to step out since you couldn't satisfy her in that way because
so fingers don't work, mouth don't work, nose don't work. I can't even.
Hey, only your eyes and your eyelids.
And I can't. And they haven't invented a dick eye harness.
They don't have a penis patch yet.
They don't
walk around like a raider.
Yeah, they don't,
just bopping your head.
They don't have the eyelash activated. They don't have the eyelash flutter activated. Activated strap on yet. I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, I probably would. I mean, if that's, I mean, I understand that someone, people have sexual needs, and at some point, maybe masturbation isn't going to do it. You know what I mean? Maybe, she needs to get dick down. And if I'm not able to do the dicking, whether physically or, mechanically,
Man, I wouldn't let it go that far, man. Look, I would get you a belt. I would wear a blindfold, and I'd carry the belt and just drop you in the shit.
So I'd be a pinata in there?
Pretty much.
I'd be a dick pinata?
Hey, you know what I mean? We put 2 popsicles. I'd have her put the popsicle sticks on you and shit.
I have a dick splint? I have a dick splint. Beautiful.
We get you some help.
Yeah, that's.
Just make sure you don't get no splinters.
And that's demoralizing. So I'd rather not know about it. I'd rather be in my wheelchair.
All right, Chuck. Just come through, Chuck. Just come through.
Hey, I'd rather be in my wheelchair eating applesauce, watching my favorite episode of Martin, while she's somewhere getting her back blown out. Shit. Come home and give me my medicine at 6. I mean, I'm sure there's those situations, I
feel you.
Again, people think differently, people love differently, people forgive differently. Let's just talk about that shit that just went down with the old girl who killed the brother in his apartment, and how the family was, hugging him. The judge, hugged her, gave him her Bible. The security guard, was combing her hair and consoling her, and a lot of people went nuts, and some people, have the mindset that, hey, you know what, that's good for them because they forgive, and there's the other side like, nah, man, they just spit in their face and fuck her and all this kind of shit. So people feel differently, there's, who are we to judge how? For me, in this situation, I wouldn't be able to do that. Now, does that make me a bad person? Maybe it does, but I'm gonna be honest, I would not. If someone murdered you, I wouldn't be able to walk up to them in the courthouse and embrace them and hug them and tell them it was going to be okay and, don't be scared and all this kind of stuff like that. You took my people from the earth, no longer living. His daughter now no longer has a father, you know what I mean, because of something you did, not a freak accident. Not like, hey, the pallet fell and squashed him or whatever. You went into his apartment and you murdered him. You know what I mean? While he was eating cereal or ice cream or some crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? So for me, I can't forgive that. You had another take on that though. What was your mindset behind it?
Well, I mean, I think we angry. I think there's so much misplaced anger within us that. I would be angry too. You know what I mean? If it was somebody I cared about or a relative or things of that nature. But because they found it in their heart to forgive, that's their discretion. You know what I mean? And if they can do that, I mean, the reality is no matter what you do, you're not gonna get your relative back. No matter how much anger that is built up, there's no revenge that's gonna return them. So I mean it's life. Shit happened. You know what I mean? And we've all have lost loved ones and ones that we've cared about to some crazy circumstances that nobody had control of, or they may have had control of, but at that moment, you know what I mean, they reacted too far. So I mean, I understand it, but it's just the outrage and shit like that. Like, You know, I don't understand why we so angry with that. I mean, it's even our peoples have been getting killed, getting walked in on the wrong house in the wrong territory and shit like that for 500-600 years.
Yeah.
Why we mad now? Because it's televised. You know what I mean?
Right. And again, I saw that there's a lot of fake outrage, and we talk about this almost every week on the show. It's just a continuing theme, unfortunately, when it comes to our community. And I agree. I agree that there's a lot of fake outrage, and not saying that this is a situation people shouldn't be outraged. Again, this shows the difference between a black life and a white life. And
of course. Yeah.
When it comes to the system, and I'm not saying that all Caucasian people are racist and hateful and want to see,
but the value is a lot different. I mean, you see the
systemically, the value is different. This was an African American judge.
Mm-hmm.
She had the opportunity to,
throw time at her, real time at her, and
didn't. And this was the jury. I mean, she directed the jury to view this person in a certain manner. So I think that is where the outrage again should be placed on the system, not the people who are participating in the system. Because again, I can't tell you how that family feels. They just might want it to be over. They might want to forgive so they can go ahead and move on, and remember their son for whoever it was. Crazy part is the dude that testified,
he got murdered.
So now there is a $100,000 reward out for information in regards to what happened. So I don't have any of the information. I'm not going to give it out, but it's unfortunate that he was murdered. It was the day after, 2 days after, some stuff.
A real brief time after. It couldn't be no more than 3 to 4 days after.
I wonder if that's at all connected.
It has to be. You know what I mean? And again, there's gangs, and I mean we're from Southern California where gangs have been prevalent our whole life, but the bigger gang is the police force, the police force, the FBI, the CIA. They will all stand up for each other through individual branches, as well as the full organization.
You think that's what it was? Think it was a hit by the authorities? Because he testified against her or for her? Not 100% sure.
I think against her.
Against her.
So I mean, she got time, and this is kind of, and with the outrage and stuff like that, she's kind of the example of hopefully what's to come in the future as far as we're going to get justice for these police acting out of character and out of professionalism and murdering innocent bystanders.
I think she's the second police officer to ever be convicted. They got one of the dudes in Chicago, and then now they just got her. So out of all, and we did this many episodes back, we went over the statistics and broke it down, and so she's 2. So 2019, if it's worth anything,
it's over what? I mean, just for this year, it's like a I think I looked at the statistics like in July or something, or August, and I think it was like over 180 or something like that.
And we got 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's,
we got a long way to go.
Yeah, we definitely have a long way to go, man. And that's it's unfortunate, man. So prayers to his family. And everything that they're going through, and hopefully, as you said, we do get to see more of these people, more of these police officers convicted when they are taking people's lives, unnecessarily. Again, there's too much of that going on all around. It's
crazy because we're the only country. We're the only country that has this problem.
Yeah.
European countries, they don't have none of these problems. I think their fatality ratio is, I think, like less than 20 or some shit for the whole year. You know what I mean? And why the fuck are they so afraid over here?
Right.
Because I mean, shit, they have there's no accountability for the shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the wild, wild west, man. So speaking of the West, last week, 18 years to the day, Jayceon Taylor was shot in his dope spot or whatever, and that is what supposedly birthed us the game. It's probably another pool question, but where do we see him now? Over a decade in the game, at least what has he got? 4 records, right? Four, maybe 4 or 5 releases. Where do you put him when we talk about the West all time? Because he's now been around long enough, I feel, to have this discussion.
Yeah. I mean, don't make me fucking put an exact number, but I would say
just give me
I
ballpark.
would say he's in the top 10 as far as the influence, and then kind of getting us out of the funk that we were in after the Death Row debacle. I mean, we were kind of Quick was making records, but you had to be kind of a Quick fan to appreciate it. And everybody else was making records as well. I can't say that music just stopped, but with the Game, he was pushed with Dre, and that was after the 50 dropping, and I mean, he represented the coast, and did his thing. So I mean, he's still I mean, cats are still looking forward to his records and albums and stuff like that. So I mean, he would be in my top 10.
Okay. All time.
For the West.
For the West, yeah. So I'm thinking Cube.
Of course.
Quick.
Of course.
40.
Of course.
Too Short.
Of course.
I'm not throwing Dre in there because Dre's not a rapper.
Nah. Snoop. Don't forget Snoop.
Shit. Snoop. That's 5. Do you have Kendrick above Game at this point in his career?
Right now, I would.
All right, so that's 6. Man, who are we missing?
I know, man. Pooh, where are you?
Who are we missing? Strictly just West Coast. Yeah, I mean, do we throw Easy in there?
No, you could. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad if not.
All right, so we say Easy 7. Do we throw Pac in that?
I mean, you could.
Right, because
you could.
All 3 of his records were released while he was living on the West Coast. So all right, so Pac, that's 8.
Yeah, he stayed 8 years or whatever.
Yeah,
that's a common law marriage.
Common law marriage. So now we got 9, 10. We got 2 slots open. I off top, I can't think of anybody who we are missing.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm a reach. Sugar Free.
Not over.
Not over Game.
Games have more of an accomplished.
Okay.
Career. I'd rather listen to Free, but Game's got a more accomplished career.
Youngsters are probably saying, "Where's Nip?"
Nah, not compared to Game. No.
Not top 10.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Man, I'm trying to think who we are missing out on. Off top, I can't. I mean, Mac Dre. I don't know. Do we throw Mac Dre in there?
As far as the top 10, nah. I mean, Mac Dre he had his own movement, but unfortunately, that shit was taken from him because his shit was. I think he was bubbling after he had got out of prison, like early 2000s or something like that. And then that shit was cut short. I forgot what year was it, like 05 or 06 or something like that.
What about, since we're doing throwbacks, what about Hammer? Do you have to throw Hammer in the top 10?
Yeah. I mean, for what he's accomplished, yeah. I mean,
I would say Game, after just running off through those names again, we're probably missing somebody, but I feel we've covered the heavy hitters on the West.
And we're probably missing a name or two, but
yeah, I say at this point in his career, you have to give Game that salute, being one of the top 10 to ever do it on the West. Now, whether you factor or whether you think that success was due to Dre and 50 or just him, the longevity of his career, you still got to give it up to him.
Yeah. You still, because I mean, even with Dre and 50, I mean, like Lloyd Banks and them didn't have that same success, and that was the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Game was he was more marketable than a Banks or a Yayo or a Buck.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, it was perfect storm. The whole Death Row debauchery. There wasn't really anyone at that time that was given the masses that gangster feel. That vibe that he brought with "This Is What We Do."
And the coldest shit is, I mean, with that and in that time frame, I mean, with Game and it with Game they show love, but shit, I mean, since Death Row, our radio stations haven't really supported our own. You know what I mean? As far as on the West Coast, and that shit's still relevant to this day.
Yeah, I mean, 92.3 The Beat, shout out to them. They still try to do their thing. Power's been Power 106 and the shit they do for a long time. They're gonna bump with whoever's lining their pockets, over there, and whatever happens to be the hot shit, whether it's Drake, whether it's Cardi, whether it's Migos. They want to be associated with really what's trending in the culture. Where 92.3 The Beat, they've still rep the West. I think that the shows have disappeared. You know what I mean? You do have DJ Head and you have Chuck Dizzle, doing their things, but we don't have a Ruthless Radio or West Side Radio. We don't have those things anymore. And
where you at, Holy OG?
Yeah, and that's something that's definitely missing. And if we do have it, it's not being pubbed and it's not being presented and pushed like it used to be, So, yeah, man, salute to the game. Again, I'm not a big fan. Name drops a lot. Stevie Wonder told Whitney Houston that I said this and that. That's just, I've never liked it. But again, I won't say he can't rap.
I'll tell you one thing that freaked me out about the game.
What was that?
Is it's crazy because he said that when he was in the hospital, recovering or whatever from the robbery, that hip hop was a major influence in his life at that time. He was listening to different records.
Oh yeah, he probably had to listen to a lot. Yeah.
But it was crazy because this motherfucker can sound like Nas. He can sound like Big, like not just the rhyme pattern, but he gets his voice to the element and to sound just like.
Yeah, he mimics
that.
Yeah.
That shit is like some Norm Bates creepy type shit to me. Like,
well, he's obviously a big fan of music, so he can mimic their flows and. There's all kinds of
flows, but like just sound like Biggie and shit like that, like on a whole 16 deep. I know you Biggie, you one of Biggie's biggest fans and shit. I've never ever heard you kick 4 bars in the voice of Biggie.
But I would never do that though, because that was something that when we were doing it, that you didn't do things like that. So and that's
what I'm saying. That's probably why he threw me off.
And that's one reason I don't mess with him, because he has a lot of those. You hear his, the shit he just did where he was kind of flowing like Nipsey. I'm paying homage. He's had shit where he sounded like Prodigy. He's had shit where he sounded like Nas. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different times he sounded like other people on the records. And as you know, I don't fuck with that. I want authenticity. You could be a descendant of somebody's family tree, the tree of Rakim or the tree of Nas or the tree of whoever, but to embody, everything about that person, their
it's a little baby mama issue.
Yeah, their projection,
tell your jokes.
I'm not, I'm not with that. Yeah, exactly. That's some baby mama wife shit. Tell a joke you told her 3 days ago. Like, girl, you funny. Like, I just said that shit yesterday at dinner. You didn't even laugh. You foul for that. Yeah, exactly. Definitely. But hey, man, anything else before we get the fuck out of here this afternoon?
Nah, man, nothing fresh on the Mente, man.
All right, let the people know where you at, man.
All right, man, you can find Simon Capone, SIMKAPONE. That's at Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter.
And again, you can find us, An Honest Conversation About Hip Hop podcast, on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can go ahead and find us on Spotify, An Honest Conversation About Hip Hop, and of course our Lisbon page. But the easiest thing for you to do is just Google us, An Honest Conversation About Hip Hop. Follow us everywhere that quality podcasts are being streamed. Big shout outs to Nice Rockwell. That's who you hear behind us tonight, DeLorean Music. Go ahead and check him out on YouTube. Mad Beats all day, every day. Shout out to Big Pooh. Hopefully you'll be checking in next week with us, and we'll be back next week with more information, more conversation about hip hop. Again, it's been your boy Hip Hop O Head signing off. Peace.